We will dive in the last section, like this last 20 minutes, a bit more in the NEB Toolbox, which is a new instrument, a new document that it matches with the European Bauhaus compass, and we believe it can be very useful to take a project and orientate it in a European Bauhaus direction, and to integrate it in a European Bauhaus framework. What I will do is just to tell you a bit about the origin of this toolbox, where it comes from, and for who has been created. Provide you an example of a tool, but more from a technical point of view, and then my colleague Gosha will present more like in depth one other tool and how to use it. So starting from where these tools come, this toolbox come from, so this collection of tools. From one leg is the experiences that we made in the technical assistance to support of the European Bauhaus local initiatives, which is the project of which the project in Horta is part of. And from the other side, like the other leg of this toolbox, is the design thinking approach. And the two things goes together, because the design thinking approach is a human-centered process that want to merge to have a collaboration between the designers of the toolbox and the users in order to provide solutions that are, how can I say, like effective, because they are based on the real user thinking way to feel and to behave. And that's what we did, and that's the frame of how the project was structured. So it started with the technical assistance and the need assessment, an analysis of needs, local needs and challenges. And from there, we extrapolate some lessons learned and some way to face those challenges. And from here, we selected a selection of tools indeed. We identified different phases to structure the toolbox: identification, exploration, and refinement. And that's in order to go following the line, sorry, towards a pan-European movement that it's based on the beauty, the sustainability, and the inclusion. For whom this toolbox has been designed, it's designed for a broad audience. Also, the European Commission asked us to keep this in mind for municipalities, but from the small town to the big cities, and also from other actors like NGOs, organizations, and even small team that are what all these actors have in common is the willing to benefit from this inspirational framework that is the European Bauhaus values and working principles. We shouldn't forget about them. And so not how was built, but how can we read this document? Exactly because there are this broad audience, we thought to have several access points, starting points. For instance, can be a project that already exists, but want to have a shift towards the European Bauhaus values, or can be the idea of a new project and we're still in the design phase, and we can select tools to really start on a European Bauhaus path. Or can also be used for example for punctual events or workshops, and in this case we can select one tool or a combination of 2-3 tools and create a workshop around it. To make this selection easier, as I said before, the tools is divided in phases that have a chronological order, but there's still flexibility, of course, and we can pick the tools that are more useful at the moment. So to conclude this framework, so why we think that's a useful tool, because it serves as a comprehensive sources for empowering authorities and all the actors or the project owners to initiate these transformative actions, that is the European Bauhaus transformation. And I just want to take a moment to speak about values, because I like the word, it's a meaningful one. And sometimes we say the European Union is based only on, it's an economic union. But of course, it's not just that. There are other values, and some of them can be added. And I think inclusivity, beauty, and sustainability is something that we all agree upon, and it's something that we all have in common. So I really like this strength of the word values. The document is divided according to these three phases: identification, exploration, and refinement, which make easier to find the tools that more suits our project. Because in each phase we can achieve different things. So for example, in the identification phase, which is more the design phase of the project, the beginning, there are tools that help us to assess needs and capabilities, identify the stakeholders, including the hard-to-reach groups, inform them and engage them, and also to present them what the European Bauhaus initiative is, because sometimes it's something that is unknown for many stakeholders. It can also help us to identify the areas of intervention of our project and to make future plans, and discuss them. The second phase, the exploration, is where we are in the middle of the project, and perhaps the motivation goes down and we need to boost it a little bit again, or when we want to let the stakeholders decide and maybe shift the capacity, the decision power. It's the moment where we can enable change with trust and transparency, again including the stakeholders, to get closer to the future. I really like this part because we have a vision that are that follows the principle, the values, but also we have to get closer to this vision. And for this, we need the European Bauhaus working principles, and we can establish them, and we can, make steps towards this direction. And this way we can embrace the full potential of the frame. The third phase, the refinement, is when we stop and we have like a moment of reflection on where we are, where we want to go, and from where we come from. And it features tools that help us to, exactly, stay reflexive, to identify and reduce the harmful impacts that we're creating, and also increase the meaningful ones. Be aware of the risk, try to continuously improve our commitment to beauty, inclusiveness, and sustainability, to monitor what we are doing, and from this monitoring, like to improve, to fill the gaps, and also to find further opportunities to expand our ambitions. As I said, each of these three phases collects a number of tools. Altogether, there are 20. I'm not going to read them now, but I will share the link to the toolbox after the presentation, and you can find them listed in this way. So I just want to spend a word and say that there are some tools that probably you already know, for example, the participation ladder. But for example, this really matches with the participation process, that it's one of the principles. Other tools, like the one that I'm going to show you now, is also well-established, well-known tool, the SWOT analysis, but it's orientated in a new European Bauhaus direction. So I think it's pretty straightforward. There's the 4 categories of the SWOT analysis, which are more or less known: strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threat, that allows to have an understanding of the dynamics, internal and external dynamics of our project. But they kind of force us to think in terms of values, of European Bauhaus values. And again, it's pretty straightforward, at the first look, but then we can think about weaknesses of beauty. That's not so easy, or like threats of inclusion. And I think that's forced us to really have a European Bauhaus mindset. Another tool I want to present you is the assessment framework, balancing co-creation towards European Bauhaus, which is the last one of the list, so in the refinement phase. because it's more like a glue of the whole toolbox. And the idea again is simple. We have in this case, it's sustainability, but it's a table for each value and each working principle. And we have some questions. We can read them and ask ourselves, okay, do I know the answer? Does the answer satisfy me? If it doesn't, I can consider to go to the third column where there is a suggestion of another tool that features in the toolbox. And for example, in this case, for sustainability, we can ask ourselves if our project incorporates circular economy or resource efficiency. And if it doesn't, maybe we can think to use the Leves tools, which in this case is about the assessment of life cycles of buildings. So this one is more technical, but there are all sorts of tools. Yeah, inclusion and beauty, just an example, and also for the working principles. I will leave now the floor.